Hi, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave. And this is the recording of the virtual coffee morning that was held on the 1st of April 2014. And today's topic is about the M2EPro updates. Now, this is perfect for you if you
are using M2E Pro, you're looking to use M2E Pro, or are just plain addicted to coffee like me and want something to listen to as you're sipping away.
Now, this was recorded live, and there will be a welcome section at the beginning, and we do also go over and cover some of the any other business section, just so that we can jump right into the bulk of the coffee morning.
Now, just a quick heads up, we will not be covering the UnderstandingE 101 in next week's coffee morning. Again, Jeff, hat tip for the suggestion on that one. We can get that out and we can get it in a video.
Now, if you did miss us, then you can join us live for free every Tuesday by going to understandinge.com/coffee-morning. It's held at 10 a.m. in the UK time, and all you need is a headset or speakers to be able to join. If you're listening to this, you either missed us or curious about
what we cover. And Dave's, and again, I'm leaving this in. Because doing it live is so much fun, because Dave is really easily amused as he's just read off the lines here in the background.
As always, whatever has been said, and that was our opinion at the time of recording.
If you believe that you can make these recordings better, then let us know. Even if your feedback is bad or good, we'd love to hear from you.
So with that said, Matt, let's dive into today's coffee morning and find out more about the upcoming M2EPro updates and what impact this will have on your business.
Right, let's kick off. I have a half-empty cup of coffee this morning. Sorry, one of the delights of getting up at 6 o'clock this morning. And good morning to Debbie, who's been enjoying us from Sydney, Australia. Good evening, rather than good morning. For it. So happy days, Andre. I'm glad that it sounds better. Okay, let's just jump straight into the beginnings, which is thank you for joining us this morning. Again, just a house rule. Those of you which have not joined us before, house rule is there's no such thing as a daft question. There is a little chat box in the bottom left-hand corner. Please use it. Dave will be keeping tabs on that throughout this morning. So if you've got any questions as we go through, we'll do our best to answer them there and then. And if you don't have any questions, don't leave a message or whatever you want. So number one, thank you for joining us this morning. So this is the third or fourth coffee morning which we've had run. And just to give you a quick agenda, unfortunately, we don't have any April Fool's jokes for you today, although there was rumour that eBay may have bought Amazon, but we think that was a bit of something in there. Okay, so quick introduction of what we got coming up. So number one, introductions. I'm Matt, and I'm a coffeeholic. We also have
me, Dave, who isn't a coffeeholic.
Dave's very pure. He likes water. We're going to have a look at the house rule, and we've also got an alert if we go over 1 hour. We got an overdose logo. I don't think we're going to be on here for an hour this morning, but we'll see how it goes. We've got a quick 101 for new members to UnderstandingE. We'll keep that down to 3 minutes tops. Okay, so it'll be very, very quick. And those of you which have been with us for a while, just have a sip of your tea or coffee, whatever you're drinking. In fact, do you have coffee with you this morning, or have you planned for tea? Are you naked with no drinks? Let us know in the chat box. That would be cool. Red wine. Good lad, Jeff. Green tea. Oh, wait.
Yeah, someone that's Kestrel Super Smurf last week.
Indeed. Tea and Vicky's. Oh, that's what I'm missing. I'm missing the biscuits. So, right.
Just got the reason.
Yes. Good lad. Coffee and toast. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're also going to be looking, and today's topic is the M2EPro updates. Nice one, Dale. And we've been given a heads up by the M2EPro team of what's coming out this week. Now, it was supposed to be last week, and they've had to postpone it till later this week. So we'll be having a look at insights into how software works and reality for that. So we'll be looking at what we've got coming up. There may be something else, but we'll find out what's in this latest update from M2EPro. Number 4, which is the any other business. Now, I don't know if you were aware or not, but eBay were with us last week and possibly the week before as well. And they've actually got a topic request from you. So think about it right now. If there is a topic you would like for us to cover specifically with eBay, or eBay to come and join us, plant that idea in the back of your mind, because we will be asking for your feedback later today, and the idea is that we'll cover that off next Tuesday. Okay. We had a bit of fun on the weekends, and we've also got an update for premium users, or premium members, should I say. For tomorrow night, we've got the topic set, and we're off from there. Okay. Adrian, M2EPro is an extension which allows you to use Magento to sell onto eBay, Amazon, and Rakuten. I won't go into like the full story for that. Basically, it's highly inexpensive because eBay subsidized that for all of us, so that you can have multi-channel software which doesn't cost you an absolute fortune. Okay. So number 1, house rule. Okay. There's no such thing as a daft question if you don't know the answer. Okay. We really genuinely do mean that as well. I'm a very, very, very curious person, and I can spend a good half of my day or a third of my day researching to make sure that I am up to speed in specific areas. Okay. So house rule, there really is no such thing as a daft question. Okay. All right. So UnderstandingE 101. So what we're going to do, we're going to keep this to 3 minutes tops. We're going to jump across to the UnderstandingE site. We're going to show you where to log in, give you a quick 101 on the dashboard, how to start a course, where you can track your progress. Oh, and also where you can ask questions and obtain help as well. So let me just go and grab a new browser window on a different screen. UnderstandingE. Grab that. Log in. Okay, so up on my screen, we've got the UnderstandingE website. That's point to log in. Just click the login button in the top right-hand corner. You'll need to enter your username and your password. Now, a note here, it's not your email address. We do see that in the web stats, people trying to enter their email address as their username. It's not that, okay? Tick the Remember Me box, click login, and you'll then be redirected to your dashboard. Okay, quick 101 of the dashboard. You've got the home tab. There's a special message in there for you on the video. You'll be able to track your courses on the My Courses tab. So that's something which we added a week or 2 ago. You'll be able to see your active courses and your completed courses. So right now, I don't have any completed courses on this account. So what else have we got? I think I've started most courses, so I don't want templates listing or any of those. My account. This is where you'll be able to link off the key sections in your account. If you're a premium member, this is where your discount code will be, and any other special messaging just for you will be on the My Account tab. And if you have any orders which you've been made on the site, that's on the My Orders tab. Any of the latest forums topics will be shown up here on the left-hand side, the latest blog posts, and also we've got our Twitter feed as well. So if you're not following us on Twitter, just add us in as UnderstandingE, and you'll be able to follow us on Twitter. Okay. As far as starting courses, if you go up to the top link which says the guides, and you'll be able to see any of the courses which we've got open right now. So I need to pick a course which we haven't started. So let's click on this one here, and then you'll be able to see all the tutorials which are in that course. Now, a huge point is that you need to click on the Start Taking This Course button, because if you go into a tutorial, it will tell you that you haven't started the course. So if you're interested in that course, press the Start Taking This Course button at the top. It will take a moment, and we've got some funky code on our screen. Happy days. And then when you go into a tutorial, so start in number 1 and work your way through, you'll see that there's a video at the top. There's any extra information below. So you can see that Dave's done a fantastic job in here to include screenshots of like the workflow of managing orders. And then down at the bottom, you can rate the tutorials. And again, that's super helpful for us Because if we know that the audio quality is absolutely pants on one of the guides, or one of the excuse me, or one of the guides is not helpful to you, we actually track those ratings in the background. Now, we do have a huge amount of new tutorials which are going to come in and update some of the original ones as well. So we know that they were the ones which we started with. We are going to be making them better. So we'll reset the stats on those as well. Okay. If you have any questions about the tutorial you just watched, the best place to ask them is in the box at the bottom for guide discussion. Just type your message in there and press the post comment button. We do get emails the vast majority of the time in the background, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as we can. Okay. The moment you do mark off a tutorial as being complete is that if you go back to either my courses or my account, so let's go and pick on my courses at the top, is that you'll be able to see your progress through each of the courses. So as you progress through, you'll see this one's at 14%, the one which we just set up was at 8%, and you do have the options that you can mark the entire course off as being complete as well. Now, as far as help goes, best place to ask for help if it's about a specific topic for a tutorial which you've just watched, add it to the bottom of the tutorial. If it's something more ad hoc, then the forums is the best place to go to. And again, don't worry about posting into the right or the wrong forums. We're not going to hold it against you. Just try and pick the most apt forum. And so if you've got the question about, say, M2EPro and getting started, nip into that forum. And the button which you want is Add Topic over here on the right-hand side. So you can just click Add Topic, type what your question's about at the top, type your message, and then press Submit Topic. Now, for those of you which have been with us for a while, I just want to point out the attachments button at the bottom. Okay, it's something which we've newly added, and you can upload screenshots, so that's JPEG, GIF, and PNG files, and you can also upload text, CSV, and zip files. So if any of you've got problems, let's say maybe with Magni, for example, instead of just saying that I've got the line 23 issue, for example, could you then include the sample file? Because then I can see, or we can see, what's wrong with that file, and we can go and run it in our system, and it means that we can just help you. Okay. Can the video tutorials be downloaded for offline viewing? Not at the moment. That's something which we thought about in the beginning. In the course which we're going to release onto Udemy, that is an option, but right now we're a little bit protective of our content, so unfortunately not. Maybe, Dave, that's something which we should offer to premium members, thinking aloud.
Yeah, potentially.
Okay, so do you want to jot that down as a note, and we'll have a chat about that afterwards? All right.
Sure.
Okay. Will you have, again, I'm just reading some questions going on in the background. Okay. Will you have the option for private messaging in the forum? That's a really good question. So we do have the ability to enable that. Right now, it's not enabled. The reason being is that I do have experience of running a very, very large community website, and I know it can get abused. Okay. Any private messaging system can get abused if it's not implemented correctly. Okay, so before we do anything like that, I would want to make sure that it's hammer-proof, basically, because the last thing which I want any of you to have is a rogue member come in and then spam you all. Okay, but on the flip side, I do think it would be a brilliant idea because it will allow each of you to communicate individually, and that's something which we really want to foster as well. So, Dave, can you just jot that down as something for me to look at this week as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool beans. So anyway, that was probably a few more minutes than 5 minutes, 3 minutes, because we did go off topic. But main point, if you're already an existing user, need help with something, and you're using a file, or maybe you're using an Excel file, chuck it into a zip file and then upload that as well. And again, just from my past experience running large forums, I know that there can be some challenges with file types and some naughty file types getting put onto the website. Okay. Anyway, that said, let's get back on today's topic, which is the M2EPro Updates. So, and a big important note here is that they are going to be available, excuse me, later this week. So we do have a tutorial, okay, which shows you how to back up Magento, M2EPro. Now, we need to update that, okay? The reason being is that if you haven't seen this yet, so let me just open that link in a new window and bring this across, is that we've got a blog post. So if you click on the blog at the top of our website, okay, the latest blog post is to do with backing up Magento the easy way, okay? And we'll show you how to set it up, backups within cPanel. And Del, I noticed your message there about you don't have cPanel, then you'll need to contact your web hosting provider to see what options they have. So if they've got Plesk, for example, then you'll need to use that instead. But we are sticking with the option just to use cPanel and Simple Servers and Simple Helix, which we've been and found, by the way, a decent US hosting provider which can run Magento. And again, I put a gig of traffic through the test site which we put up in their hosting, and it works really, really. Yeah, again, James has just added a note in there. Don't trust your host to back up. Always keep a backup yourself. Okay, all right. Okay, so do take a few moments to do that. It takes literally 3.5 clicks to make a backup. It takes 3 clicks to restore a backup in Magento. Now, there was a question in the forums earlier today about backing up and using the inbuilt backup manager within Magento. Now, from my past experience, is that if you're going to knacker Magento, you're going to knacker it completely, and you probably won't be able to access your Magento admin. So to remove that, do an external backup. cPanel just makes it nice and straightforward, and you can also restore very easily from there. So that's our suggestion. Don't use the Magento inbuilt backup system. Use an external tool like cPanel, or doing a full backup of all your entire website files. Okay, so do take, it's 14 minutes long. We would strongly suggest of doing that. Okay, right. And again, just a note that we do have a guide, and again, to help you, watch that tutorial on backing up and restoring the easy way in Magento with cPanel. And there is a guide, and again, you can start at 10 minutes and 25 seconds. And again, we will be putting a copy of this slide deck up onto SlideShare and a whole recording of this coffee morning later today as well. Okay, now I felt it kind of important to add like a foreword, because what we're going to be seeing in this update is a bucket load of fixes. Now, in an ideal world, sorry, just give you my background. I've worked with 2 software companies, so I know what the ideal is, and I also know what reality is. Okay, so in an ideal world, there will never be any fixes to software, because all software is perfect, of course. But in reality, there's always going to be like a handful of feature requests and added functionality. There's going to be some additional pieces which have been added, and there's always going to be bug fixes. Now, I just want to do a big hat tip to the guys at M2EPro, because they actually tell us what those bug fixes are. A lot of software companies, and again, just going on my past experience, don't actually tell you what the bug fixes were. They just say the software has been updated and tell you the good features which have been added. They don't necessarily tell you the other side of the story. Okay. Oh, and the other one, just to make a point here, is that with M2EPro, each of your installations are separated. Okay, so each of you have got your own hosting environment, and that can be quite challenging to work with, especially to do with compatibilities between different hosting environments. And again, I've seen that with scripts which I've built, is that one thing which will work fine in 99% of all web hosts is that you get the odd 1%, which can be a bit of a nightmare. Okay. Oh, and also there's going to be 3 types of updates which we're going to see. Number 1, we're going to see additions. So ideally we would see 100% of additions, and the second type, which is improvements, and ideally 0 fixes. Okay, that would be like the perfect world. Okay, but we're not in the perfect world, and we're going to see quite a few fixes in a few moments. And again, big heads up to the M2EPro team for letting us know what these updates were in advance. Okay, so Jumping straight into the additions, we've got the MAP, or minimum advertised price, going into the United States. So any of you which sell into the US, then that's going to be in there as part of the next update. Also, strike-through pricing for the Australia marketplace. So Debbie and Jeff, I believe, that will impact yourselves on there. So you can have strike-through pricing. Again, just to give you a background to strike-through pricing, you have to get it enabled by eBay or your account manager at eBay. It's not something which anybody can have access to. It has to be approved by eBay directly, and then you can use it. And then again, if you try and use it, you'll get some really funky error messages back from eBay saying you're not allowed, or depends on what M2EPro packaged the message back. So you have to have it explicitly enabled on your eBay account. The donation feature is now available for all marketplaces. Anyway,
we had that request about 3 times in the forums. So yeah,
the donation,
that in there. Yeah.
Really? I've never used it.
Yeah, no, we had a guy in Canada, a couple of guys in America who were adamant that they wanted to round up the basket and donate it to charity.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so M2EPro listens to that. One of them put a feature request in. There you go.
That must be part of that. And again, that is an option when you go to list products. And again, I'm pretty sure that I've seen that on the bottom of the... Anyway, so that's in there. So it's available for all marketplaces. Now, I know that this came from the forums as well. The next, so I think it might have been Callum, might have been somebody else, which put a feature request in for the M2EPro. You can watermark your images, but the caveat was that it would only watermark the images which are in the eBay gallery. So on the top of a listing, the main image or images in the top left-hand corner, that they would be watermarked. But in your actual listing template, the images which you had in there, like in the eBay gallery, for example, if you're using the eBay listing template builder, is that those images didn't have the watermark on them. And they've been added the ability to watermark the images which are being used in your description. So you've got that extra level of protection if you do want to watermark your images. Okay. Next up, we've got some improvements. Now, the first 3 are kind of boring. So the cron, so that's the scheduled system in the background which runs the updates and the synchronization subsystem. They're probably kind of joined at the hip, I would suspect, within the M2EPro system. They've also got some improvements to the extension licensing subsystem. So I'm guessing that's when you're brand new to M2EPro and you're entering your details in. So that's probably going to be a slicker method. We've also got the option for manage stock during getting product quantity. So that's, remember, when you're actually editing products, or you've got a product which has got stock on there, there's 2 options. You can allow Magento to manage stock, or you can tell Magento to ignore stock levels. So I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to go with. This is a curious one, Dave. So point number 5, supporting of the option back orders during getting product quantity. So by the sounds of it, M2EPro are going to be allowing you to create back orders within your system. So that's for a product which you didn't have stock for, and it will create a back order within Magento. We've got
an interesting conversation with the guy at IRX about that, wasn't
it? Yeah, that was very curious. It was 2 very different points of view for that one. Just give you a heads up, Justin's point of view, which is you should never use Magento for anything more, for anything to do with back ordering. And our point of view was, have you not tried the extension from MagWorks? Because that works really well. And yeah, 2 very, very different points of view, which we had. Okay. Chris, I can see your message down there. My cron job failed Saturday night. Had to add a little piece of code to the command to get it working again. Yeah, that happens. I've had that happen last year when we were using M2EPro originally. The guys from M2EPro, they jumped in, saw what was going on, and they were able to fix it for us. So I saw your message yesterday, So it looks like they've been jumps on the support for you. And again, yeah, it was the clocks changing as well. Okay. I'm just reading Dell's message. Can you have images not watermarked in Magento website, but watermarked on eBay? The answer to that is yes. That's the idea, is that they don't come, I assume that they come through on eBay as watermarks, and on your website they don't. Okay. They've marked it as significant improvements of order downloading subsystem. I actually thought it was pretty fast, so if they made it faster, happy days. Oh, a big one, I know for Ben, which I don't think Ben's with us today. Ben, we've got the number of variations options have now been increased from 30 to 60, so you can get double the amount of variations within either variation or multi-variation listings. Okay. Oh, and you're also going to see a preview of the watermark in the custom description. So if you go into your listing template within M2EPro, when you hit the preview button, you'll actually see the preview of the images and see what's going to come out. And I think that's going to be a really handy option, so that especially if you're playing around with setting up your watermarks, you can actually view to see what's going on. Okay. I'm just going to pause for a moment to just read the messages of what we've got coming through. Okay.
Interesting question from Mark. Could the improvements to the sync subsystem improve payment status updates? I always seem to have conflicting information between Magento and M2E. Magento seems to be the correct status. What do you reckon, Mark?
That could be it. That could be it. So the honest answer is that I don't know, but the easiest way to answer that constructively is to grab a note and, hey, we'll go and ask the team over at M2EPro if that's what it is. Okay. Good morning, Physio. Thank you for joining us as well. And maybe 10% of my orders. Yeah, that's a curious one. Don't know, but we will go away and ask for you, Mark. Okay, just to answer that one. We don't know the answer, but we can find out. Okay. What we've got, custom description. And we've got Middle East, Southeast Asia regions is in excluded shipping options as well. So that's when you're setting up your shipping options, you can now add those options in whether you want to exclude them from your shipping policy. Oh, just to go off on a slight tangent, by the looks of it, is that if you are part of the global shipping program, it looks like eBay enable these options as well, even if you've got explicit messaging on that listing not to ship to those locations. It looks like eBay will override those and allow those products to be sold into those locations. Okay, as well. Okay, so that's a curiosity. We'll find out more when we do some more research on that. Okay, now there are a lot of fixes in the system within M2EPro now. Again, big hat tip to the guys for letting us know about this. So I'm quickly going to run through these. We've got order duplicates. I haven't seen one. Has anybody else seen any order duplicates within Magento where you've had a double order? Dell, you've seen them? Okay, it's not something which we've seen, but I do stress that we don't use it at a high volume within Magento, so it's mainly been the odd stuff which we've actually purchased ourselves. So if that's not a biggie, apparently they've been and fixed that. Applying Magento shipment changes to channel even. Right, okay, so that looks like a conflict between settings. Okay, which you've got in there. Wrong original price in Magento for order variation products. Sounds about right. Weight did not save the shipments created by M2EPro. That must be for the shipments when you're making a shipment to send off. Okay. Incorrect view of description that contains HTML code in logs grid. That's really minor. The edit button. Oh, happy days. Okay, so that's the episode. Number 6 is the edit button. So that if you've got associated products, so if you've got product which is a variation, then that button wasn't working. Looks like it's been fixed that. Now the big one for me is just that the quantity for the same simple products in a bundle product has been fixed. Now I'm hoping that's to do with the bundle quantities, so that we can actually start creating really, really cool bundles within M2EPro. Right now, the functionality does work, but when you've got, say, 2 H4 light bulbs, for example, is that you can't put 2 of the same product into the group, and it goes a bit gnarly because you've got double the amount of stock being listed onto eBay. Hopefully, number 7's a fix for that. One's a database error, and again, that's to do in my notes, which I mentioned at the beginning. We are dealing with a lot, or M2EPro are dealing with a lot of different versions, not only of PHP, hosting environments, and variables, but also MySQL versions as well. Okay, and it looks like there is an issue with autocomplete within multi-channels as well, so that's probably quite minor. Now, there are a lot of eBay fixes as well, so the watermarked image is now going to be updated when it goes through. And there's a curious one here, which is the wrong attribute labels for configurable products and images in some cases. So it's curious to see what that one's going to be. There's number 3, number 4 are kind of nerdy, so we're going to skip those over. Number 5, that's a sort action. Okay, so what that Magento view mode means is that, in fact, probably the easiest way for me to explain this, because we haven't covered this in any of the guides, Dave, is not yet. Not yet. Let me just pop this. I'm just logging into Magento in the background, and we need to go into the right section. So I'll go into sell on eBay listings. So I'm just going to pop that up on my screen for you. Just hide the help out the way. Let's choose a listing group and hide that. And can you see in the middle here, we've got the view mode section. And right now, the view mode is set to eBay. So let me just maximize that out. And we'll be able to see the SKU, the title, some eBay-specific information, the eBay item ID, the price, and the date, and what the status of that listing is. But if you change the view mode across the settings, is that you'll then be able to filter upon the settings which you've been and got set across all the listings within that listing group. Okay, and that's so helpful because you'll be able to find the ones which have got custom shipping settings, for example. So I know some of you have got like this default group where you've got a whole mix of different listings in there, some using a policy, some not using policies, and that's how you can find them. So you can find all the listings which are using the listing settings, all the ones which are using custom settings within that listing group. Okay, and there is another view mode for Magento, which we've got in here, where you can actually see the extra information again back from the Magento product grid as well. So, by the way, if you do tinker with the view modes and you come in here and go, how do I revise on eBay? Remember to come back to the view mode of eBay, otherwise that will catch you out, because I know that will catch you out because it's been caught myself and Dave out once or twice in the past as well. Okay, so let's move that one out of the way. So which one we're up to? So that was number 5. That was a sort action. So that was just basically clicking on the grids in here so that you can organize the columns by whatever makes sense to you in there. Not sending tracker numbers for orders separately, so order items separately. So that's what, if you've got a multi-line item order and you ship the item in 2 separate shipments, is that by the looks of it, M2EPro have worked out a way of being able to send the tracking numbers over separately. So that's happy days. Number 7 is a bit nerdy to do with PHP versions, so we'll skip that. Skipping confirmation window for saving possible duplication. So that looks like just a process flow. Disabled option. Right. So it looks like so number 9, they've been simplified the new users when they're going through the simple mode. That doesn't really affect us, and we can ignore that one. Variation price, availability, Magento price, if buy and a price, none. Variation price, availability. Don't really understand number 11, but it's something to do with variations. Looks like they've been sorted out the CAD, USD pricing. Don't know what impact that had on anybody, if I'm frankly honest. Adding of Magento blocks did not work in custom description when it was run from a cron. That's curious. Again, we haven't actually directly covered with you what the static blocks in Magento do. It's one of the tutorials which we're adding for the Magento design course, which is that, again, because I've got Magento up and running in the background, there's a section called CMS, which stands for Content Management System. And there's also a section in here called static blocks. Now, normally you would use this for like static text on the left or the right-hand side of your website, for example, or maybe, as you'll see with the Ultimo theme, is that you can have lots of these blocks everywhere. But what a block is just a static chunk of text which you can use over and over again. And one of the cool things about that is that think about your eBay listing template and maybe your payment policy or your shipping policy, for example. That's most likely going to be the same for, if not 100% of all your listings, but the vast majority. And what you can do is that you can add a new block of text. Now I'm just going to chuck some details in there, is that you could write some static text. So here's my payment options, for example. I can type, there we go. And you can save that as a static block, and you can actually use that within your eBay listing template. So if you, and again, what that means is that you can write your payment terms, your shipping terms, or anything which you use in every single one of your listings once. You can write it once in here, put it into your custom description. And of course, when you need to change that, is that you can come into the static block section and then edit it there, and then it should then filter on to your eBay listings. Okay, so that was number 13. Motors problem. Okay, again, that's one of the funs of working with eBay. They change stuff and they've been deleted and stuff in the past, so happy days. We also had some other fixes. ASIN searches within Amazon got stuck. That's probably just a jQuery or an Ajax call which is getting stuck on there. Invalid billing addresses in Magento orders in some cases. I've had this as well. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways which you can interact with Amazon to get order details back, and I've been caught out by grabbing the wrong order address from Amazon. So it doesn't surprise me that this one's cropped up in here, because I know that I've had that myself in the past. Major inventory synchronization issue. Again, wrong status is changing. Ignore next inventory synchronization. It looks like they're still sorry, let me just put this into perspective. Right now in M2EPro is that we've got kind of like two versions running on side by side. We've got Sell on eBay, which has been broken up into a couple of core sections, and the biggest difference is that you've got this configuration settings section. So you've got general account settings, sites, policies, etc., etc. Whereas that with Sell on multi-channels is that it's all separated out into these other sections. Okay, and what M2EPro are going to be doing, again, to the best of my knowledge, is that they're going to be bringing the Amazon and the Play side, well, specifically the Amazon, up to the same level as what we've got with eBay now. Again, they've been very vague on this. Again, I would have been probably very vague on it as well. They've just said somewhere in Q2, so that's anywhere up into the middle of the year. We should be seeing an update for that as well. So we're looking forward to those changes to come in. Okay. So synchronization doesn't activate template, that's fair enough. Rakuten, sort by buyer name and grids didn't work, so that's a minor update. And all looks of it like they've done a calculation update as well for Rakuten in there too. Okay, now I can see there's some questions coming in. I've had problems with 0.3 myself. Wrong statuses. Yeah, so if you've ever had a problem with M2EPro, our biggest point is go and let them know. Okay, it's from a software developer's point of view. If something doesn't work the way which you expected it to work, go back and ask them a question. Okay, because it could just be you being daft. That's one side of the table. Again, you might need to read a bit of extra information to make it work the way which you wanted it to work, or maybe that tool doesn't work the way which you expected it to be. That can also be a reality. But on the flip side, it could actually be a bug. Okay, and it will be from support tickets. It will be messages from you to, in this case, M2EPro, to let them know that there is a potential bug in the system. Okay, so always be noisy with these third parties. Again, M2EPro will probably wring my neck for telling you to do this, but if something's broke or doesn't work the way which you expect it to do, shoot them a message. Okay, ask. And again, if you don't ask M2EPro, chuck it in the forums. Okay, it's a quick sanity check. All right. And I'm
got a couple of questions further up here, Matt.
Yeah, go for it, Dave.
One from Michael, which says, any updates from M2E if they're going to charge for the service?
Right, so they are going to be charging for this service. So again, let's put this into perspective. Right now, M2EPro is being subsidized by eBay. But if we put ourselves in the shoes of eBay, would you be that delighted that the extension which they're subsidizing also allows them to put the sellers, to put your products on their arch nemesis, Amazon? You would probably not be that excited about it. So expect M2EPro sometime this year, and again, that's as vague as I can be because that's as much as what we know, is that expect they're going to end up charging for the Amazon piece. Okay, again, they still class Amazon as beta. I would like to see the Amazon section as good as what we've got for eBay. When they've got it to that level, that would be a good point on there. And again, I know from past conversations with the M2EPro team, they're not looking to do a percentage of sale model. It will be based on something like number of orders or number of inventory which you're sending across. They'll base it fairly, and the reason why it'd be fair, because it will be on stage levels. Obviously, if you're doing more volumes, then you should pay more. As far as what those values are, we genuinely don't know. Okay. Also, again, I'm probably not going to win any favors with the M2EPro team. There are other options for Amazon. If that kind of value goes over a certain threshold, let's say £300 a year, for example, there are other extensions available. There's one by Boost My Shop, for example. Costs about, I think it's about €290. We'll call it €300 just to be on overcharge it. And that extension works really, really well with Amazon. So M2EPro do have competitors out there for Magento. Okay, so we'll find out nearer the time. And we've been very blatant with this as well, and said that if it gets too expensive, then we'll just show people how to use the other option. But it does, again, we like M2EPro. It generally works really, really well. I know that it'll work at a high volume, and you can actually run a business from it. So it's just putting everything into proportion. So again, if their support's great, why would you not go with it? Again, we'll find out later at the time. So Dave, that was the pricing. Was there another one in there as well?
Yeah, we've got another one from Christopher, who's asked, is there any further forward with variable bundles? Obviously, there's no mention of this in this update from M2E.
Yeah, there's no. Can you just clarify what you mean by variable bundle? Just to clarify that one. What would the bundle be, for example? Would it be you want a variation listing on eBay, but the subcomponents are actual bundles or kits in there? Because the variation product which consists of bundles. Okay. No is the answer to that. Chris, were you the chap which emailed me about a week ago about using a German extension? Yeah, it gets really, really complicated fast. Okay, your developer did. Okay, so he's using the extension which we've been investigating. Okay, that is the only extension which he's using. Again, I can't remember what it's called. It begins with W, and it's a German or a Dutch site or developer which has been built there, and that's for really, really complex ones. Okay, so yeah, it's a challenge because that's extending Magento beyond Magento to do bundles of bundles, basically. Yeah, I don't have an answer for that one. If we can tie it back to standard Magento functionality, hopefully yes. If it's something we've got to get involved in and code our ways out, excuse me, code our way out of, then that's something which we'll look at. Again, the way which we're working is that we're trying to find existing extensions to meet the needs of you, rather than us having to go off and develop extensions and create duplication. We'd rather go and find an existing extension, tweak it, or speak with the developers, get them to tweak it to our needs as a community. And the nice thing about that is that then they're responsible then for that extension. Okay, so configurable products with bundles. Yes, that's right. Configurable products with bundles inside. And the caveat to that, normally what you would do within, so number one, you can't do that with Magento out of the box. You can't put bundles inside of configurable products. You have to use an extension to do that. You can get close to it with a group product. The problem with group products in M2EPro is that M2EPro is too smart, as in that it works, then you can then use group products as variation listings, and it is getting past the caveat in Magento to do it, so it's a little bit tricky. And if I've lost any of you in that, don't worry about it. We've known about this for a long period of time, but it is actually very tricky to do. Okay, so what else have we got, Dave? We haven't hit the hour, so sorry, go on, Dave.
I was going to say, we have Andrew's asked, do we have a specific date for the new version of M2EPro being released, available for download?
Yeah, it was last week. That's the reality. It was supposed to be last week, but they've had to put it off. So all we can say, it will be this week at some point in time. We don't know when, but we do check our system every day. And again, it's very easy for you to check to see if there's an update available. Again, because you can see my screen, I can show you, which is really cool. Literally, just jump into System, Magento Connect, Magento Connect Manager, click Login, and the button which you want is on the right-hand side. And we're doing this on a daily basis, so we're doing this each morning. So worst case, we're going to be a day out of a day, and then click and check for updates. And if there's an update, this section here for M2EPro will be yellow, and it will tell you about it. So again, just a daft note, if you do spot it's yellow, make a backup before you do anything. It only it takes 3.5 clicks to do a backup. And then if something goes horribly wrong, again, this is not just M2EPro, this is any extension which you do with Magento. Make a backup first, and then update it, make sure it works. And if something did go wrong, God forbid if it did, you do have that backup. You can rewind in time back to it if you ever need it. And we sincerely hope you never need it. But for the sake of 3 clicks and walking away from your computer to go make a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, always make the backup. Okay.
We have another question from Michael, which I quite like actually. Is there any chance of getting UnderstandingE members a discount? I presume it means for the Amazon M2E section.
Well, there's an interesting one. Yeah.
You don't ask, you don't get.
I was like, right in my mouth. Yeah. If you didn't ask, you don't get. And again, think about this from M2EPro's point of perspective. If they know that just say that, again, I'm just talking hypothetically here, and off the top of my head. So just imagine that we got a heads up of their latest release for the Amazon side. We put some fantastic guides into place, and you were able to follow them through. Then they should only really be dealing with like the support side or limited amount of support, because they're not having to answer the basic questions which you would normally have. So if you were left alone to do it yourself, is that an advantage to them? Hell yeah, I think it is. And yeah, we will be asking the question, is there any way we can get something extra for the M2EPro users? Because again, in reality, if it's something straightforward, you're likely to hit the forums before you open up a support message with them. And again, there are some stuff which we can't do. So if it's specific to your business and your account with in Magento and M2EPro, we can't go that one. Well, we don't want to go that one line further. Whereas the M2EPro can step in and offer that for you. Oh, by the way, they are working on paid support packages as well, and we've blatantly asked the question as well, so that if somebody's come from UnderstandingE, is there any better rate which you can offer them? Okay, so yeah, we are asking those questions in the background. So yeah, we would like that to happen very much so as well, because again, from their point of view, they've got a really educated user rather than Joe Public off the street, which is going to struggle miles with it. So yeah.
We have another question from Dale. Can you cover what happens to policies when it is sent from M2EPro to eBay? I call it Royal Mail First Class Free, but when it gets to eBay, it's called policy 125688967. Should I rename it in eBay, or will it break it in M2EPro?
So this is that's a really cool question. So let's just explain what's going on. So when you list a new product onto eBay, is what M2EPro in the background, again, because they've been told the right way by eBay, and are having to follow their rules, or their developers, whereas a different tool would have just done it in a different fashion. Okay, sorry, just putting that into perspective. When you list the item to eBay, is that you've got your shipping options which are going in, and they're also in the background, there's this policy automatically being created as well. Now, this is a really curious question, because if you were just listing it on eBay directly, then you could have picked up an existing policy, or you would have just set it per listing. Okay, and you don't know anything about that at all. Whereas in this case, you're actually using a third-party piece of software. In this case, it's Magento and M2EPro. So the originating source of that listing is not eBay, or it's not TurboList or the Sell Your Item form. It's Magento. So the place where you should be updating, ideally, is in Magento, because if you then send any other updates across back to eBay, Magento doesn't know about the manual update which you made in eBay. Okay, it's just the same as if you went to an eBay listing, changed the description, then revised it from Magento, and you've got your description overwritten. Okay, in this case, Magento and M2EPro is the master of your inventory data. Okay, whereas the eBay there's like the slave. You've got master and slave. Normally, when you first started, it was just eBay, and that's all you cared about. Whereas in this case, you've made the step away to use software or multi-channel software, and you should ideally always update within Magento, not directly on eBay, because the moment an update goes through, you're going to lose your changes. Okay, fantastic question. Fantastic question. And yeah, with Kundal is the company who does the bundles extension. I need to go and chase them. It's probably the best question. Okay, yeah. So they'll basically ignore the policies in eBay. Just keep Magento and M2EPro updated. That's the master. All right.
Okay. We have a question. Do you know if there are any plans for M2EPro to manage returns which are placed using eBay managed returns process? I think, Chris, they're going to have to do it. You know, it's going to become mandatory through eBay. Mm-hmm. So I think they are going to have to build something to integrate it. What do you think, Matt?
Well, yeah. In short, eBay have got an API for everything. So yeah, there will most likely be an API, so that if you can manage it within a standardized process, ideally within Magento, because again, that should be the hub of your business, then yeah, I would like to, again, I'd really like to see it. And again, just go on eBay's past performance, that pretty much everything has an API to it. So you may have not heard the word API before. Application Programming Interface. It just allows third-party developers to talk to eBay programmatically, and eBay has got like one, if not the best documented, API and developer site in the background. So yeah, if they're going to make it mandatory, expect that to be included. When we see it in M2EPro, don't know. When we see it in any other tools, I don't know either. All right.
And we have one from Chris McCulloch. Export my listings. Any further updates?
Right. Unfortunately, we're laughing because we know what last week was like. I chipped at it a couple of days last week. It still needs some work. All right. It sucks for me not to be able to tell you that it's ready. Okay. Oh, and I just noted Chris's message. I'll come back to that in a moment. It sucks that I don't have it ready for you. We are actually getting two members to our team are being added. Unofficially, my wife is now answering a few of my emails. So when new users register, she's shooting them an email manually because that has the best response rather than using an automated approach. And also, we're getting somebody in to do the video editing for us as well. It's not the best use of our time throughout the day. So we've been chatting to a chap called Adrian who we used last year. He's going to be doing some editing for us so that we can free up our time so that we can get back to editing, doing things like export my listings, the other stuff, the 10 million things which we walked away from the RX from as well. And again, it's not a case that there's not enough hours in the day because we're chucking as many in there. It's just trying to get to them in the right order. And the moment export my listings took the back seat for that. So yeah, we need to get that sorted. Okay. Chris, I can see a message and now I know that Limworks have it already. So that tells me that there's an API for it. So it's a case of we need to check in the features list on the M2EPro site. If they don't have one, then hey, let's go and put one together and vote the living daylights out of it. I think that would be really, really good. Okay. Let's move that out of the way. On to the topic of any other business, okay, which I do believe we've just hit 11 o'clock, so we're into overdose now. Okay, so I saw a picture for overdose. Okay, so number one, next week, okay, we need suggestions from you for what you would like us to cover next week. We missed this the last 3 times. If there's a topic you would like for us to specifically cover, okay, please let us know. Okay, that would be amazing help for us because we want to help you as much as we can. Okay, so if there's a specific area of Magento, if there's something to do with M2EPro, something to do with eBay, Amazon, dare I say, anything like that, please let us know. And also a topic is that eBay have asked us this. Tell us what's important to you. If it's something specific to eBay, then we can get those involved with you. Okay, get them actually on here. They can help us with any material which we need, etc., etc. Okay, on there. So if you have any topics in mind, like going right back to the beginning, please let us know. If it's something private, you don't want to suggest in the forums, email us directly. You just email support@understandinge.com, or let us know in the forums. There's a dedicated forum in there as well. Okay. Oh, we had a bit of fun on the weekend as well. If you've not followed us on YouTube, look up, just Google UnderstandingE YouTube, and there's a picture of a cat. That was us messing around, letting us our hair down. We did find it kind of funny. I'd like to share that one with you. Dave, the premium users webinar, when is that and what time?
The premium webinar is tomorrow evening, 8:30, what is now British Summer Time, or Daylight Saving Time. And the topic is eBay research. So how you can do research on eBay to give you an advantage over competition and just to give you a better insight into your products, your competition, what the sell price is, the audience, all that sort of stuff.
And that's going to go really nice with the best match topic, which we did last week as well. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun one. Again, just to give you a heads up, we need to do that. We need to write the presentation, the slide deck, the notes for us to do today, so that we can finish it off tomorrow and then have it to a really good quality level for you tomorrow evening. Okay. And number 4 was suggest a topic. Let us know, please let us know, because we want to keep these coffee mornings as most useful for you. Because ultimately, you're going to spend an hour with us drinking what is now cold coffee or cold tea. So any ideas, very, very welcomed. If it's something eBay orientated, again, they have asked, please let us know. Your feedback would be amazing. Okay.
I have a couple more questions, Matt.
Yeah, please go for it.
Okay, so we've got Andrew. Can you give us a status update on the planned availability of guides for 1. rest of order management, 2, Amazon integration, and 3, Magento Web Foundation.
Right, can I start with the easy one first?
Yes, do the easy one first.
Right, Magento Web Foundation, really, really close. There are, and I'm just looking on a different screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's 7 tutorials which need to be recorded. Now that sounds bad, but on the flip side, is that then means the slide deck is done, all the research is done, we just need to sit down and record them, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So our aim for today is to nail those 7. Okay, that means that we can then edit the audio and then go and get them produced. Now, there is going to be a day or two's delay in here. Okay, and the reason for that is that we would like to use these to help the outsourcer, which we're working with, is the extra member of the team, to get them up to speed with varying different types of tutorials, which we're going to be throwing them long term. So we do have to invest our time. I'm saying 1 to 2 days. Reality, it's going to be like 2 weeks to get them up to the same level as me and Dave. Okay, so we do want them to cut their teeth, as a metaphor, on these tutorials. So we'll have those done. The ones which haven't been done, and I'm just having a quick look right now. So we haven't done the order workflow in Magento. Now that sounds daft, but we've already got the base slide deck for that. Not much work. Creating and processing orders, nice and straightforward. We've got SSL certificates to go in. I know this stuff, and I just need to get it into the slide deck that it's been done, but it's just being able to spill it back to you in a just plain English format, why you should want one, why you need one. And the other one is setting up PayPal and PayPal Express within Magento. That one's on hold right now because I've called in a favor with a specific company to see if I can get somebody from PayPal to join us to explain the options, because there's 5 options for PayPal in Magento, and they're all kind of like, which one do I need? So I'd rather hold off and wait till I get the right person to join us to do that, excuse me, to explain the differences. So setting up PayPal is on hold right now, and also we've come to the conclusion that table rates in Magento are utter pants, and we're going to show you how to use a free extension from web shop apps and how to set that one up. Now, for me to do that one, it needs an hour of preparation time for myself. So how close are we? Very, very close. It'll be out to premium members with 1 or 2 holes in it by the end of the week. Okay, so later this week. Amazon integration, still have a question mark around there. I've got a little plan, which I've written out, but we don't have the slide decks to go with them yet. Okay, again,
or even an Amazon account.
Yeah, so we've got to do that. I know the process in the background. Once we get ourselves free, number 3 in your list, the Magento Web Foundation, Amazon is back to a priority for us. Okay, the rest of order management is the 2-3 key pieces to that, which are to do with the Magento extensions. They're actually recorded. They're sat there waiting for us to edit them. Now, I do need to do a bit of extra work on there to make it, to basically baby step you into them. Okay, so that when we hit the big tutorial on them, is that it makes complete sense to you. So there's a much longer tutorial, which is going to be like 40 minutes or so, which you'll be able to follow along in your system, I hasten to add. But we also want to point out that this extra time is optional. We also have a cheat in place as well, which is basically go and pay Jim some money and he'll set that up for you as well. That's another option which we can, again, get the pieces into place with Jim so that we're able to do that as well. So ideally, we'd like to get that edited up by the end of the week as well. So we've got a lot on our plate to do. I also know what's in our calendar for this week as well, which is kind of scary. Again, I'm just looking on a different window right now. Let me open up my calendar, give you an idea of what we've got coming up, or what we're working on in the background. Number one, we're Scott, and unfortunately wasn't very well for about 2 weeks from interculture element. That puts behind on the cross-border trade stuff. We're actually speaking to IWOCA, and we're going a very, very different slant on this one. It's something called OMA, Obscene Massive Action. I can't wait to explain that one in more detail. I'm meeting Andy from Global Freight Solutions. They've been and got sorted out their Magento integration, which we've been waiting since December for. So that's going to be a great one. We got premium webinar. Remove the background we're speaking to later this week. We're also speaking to GS1 this week, and that's pretty much it. So we are working as much as we can in the background. Okay. And they'll, when are we releasing some new videos? Once we've got these base ones in place, so once we're 100% happy with the foundation course, there is a massive overlap between the courses, between that and the getting started courses. The new ones which we've done are going to go back and replace some existing ones. Okay, so new soon, end of this week. Premium users will always get it first. Okay, and then it'll be a week or so after. So realistically, the order updates, as soon as we got them, the Magento website stuff, it will be not next week, possibly the week after. Okay, all right. And Hermes massive update now has tracking number to Magento. No, I don't work for them. I thought it was Hermes which didn't have an API, so it looks like they've done some work. Okay, so happy days. Cool beans. And again, chuck it in the forums for Andrew. Right, before we go, does anybody have any questions from anything which we've been covered today at all? If so, let us know in the chat box in the bottom left-hand corner. And if you have any suggestions on topic for topics next week, we're all ears. And please let us know. Please let us know either in the forums or just email us directly at support@understandinge.com. So I'm just going to wait for a few minutes.
Like I said, we have the what eBay have asked us is important to you. This is a great opportunity for you to actually potentially get something in front of eBay themselves. So have a think on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, by Friday, we would say is the latest, because then that means we can work on anything which we need to over the weekend, so we can have it prepared for Tuesday. And if that's it, and there's no questions, happy days. Thank you for joining us. I think I've got a slide on the end. I do. There we go.
Thank
Cheerios. Exactly. Okay. Guys, thank you very much for joining us. Next Tuesday, same time. We'll see you there. Tea, coffee, beer, wine, whatever floats your boat. We'll see you then.
Vodka.
Okay? Vodka, indeed. Cheerios.
See you guys.